Well, it sounds like Marvel Studios is finally listening to the fans because we've got some really good news on Daredevil Born Again. It turns out some of our fan favorite characters that were reported dead will indeed be part of the series, and it appears this decision was made very recently. Let's talk about which characters are indeed returning for Born Again, why it's so big and important to Matt Murdock, and what's going on behind the scenes with Marvel because I think they're finally listening to fans. Now, before we do that, though, make sure you hit that like and subscribe button and ring the bell for all the updates. We do daily Marvel and DC videos, and we want to be your place for all the superhero news, but we're going to bring it to you truthfully and transparently so you are really in the know. Well, if we turn the clock back a little bit, a couple of months ago we found out Marvel was basically scrapping the Daredevil Born Again series and going back to the drawing board. Now, several episodes were shot, and they've told us some footage will remain, but it appears based on everything we're hearing, the entire series will be drastically different when it finally arrives on Disney+. Now, Dario Scardapane, who worked on The Punisher, was recently tapped as an actual showrunner, which is the first time Marvel has ever done that. And they actually brought on Loki and Moon Knight directors Justin Benson and Aaron Moorhead to helm the remaining episodes. So they do have a group of people that have success in television finally working on the series. Now, the changes apparently were so drastic that Scardapane has written a new pilot episode and at least 2 other new episodes, either replacing or adding to the original series. Now, one of the most controversial things we're hearing coming out of the original series is that Foggy Nelson and Karen Page were not only not part of the series, but they were actually killed off screen before the series even began. Honestly, this was a moment that caused fans to groan and had an overwhelming negative response. Now, in the original story, apparently it was Foggy and Karen's death that led to Matt Murdock giving up being Daredevil. But obviously, like in every hero's journey, he decides to suit up again. This sounded pretty grim, but it appears now Kevin Feige and crew have reversed direction. Now, we are hearing multiple reports that Eldon Henson's Foggy Nelson and Deborah Ann Wool's Karen Page will indeed reprise their roles in the upcoming series. But the real question is, how much? Now, this is a very last-minute change, but with Scardapane rewriting the pilot episode and so much of the rest of the series honestly being shifted around, they could very well play a big part of the series. Karen Page has always been one of Matt's primary love interests, and honestly, Foggy Nelson is Daredevil's Jiminy Cricket. He is the guy standing on his shoulder, whispering in his ear, and guiding Matt along the way, just like he did in the original series. And I really don't know how you continue with some of these characters without those two as part of the story. I think it's super important for Marvel to stick the landing with Daredevil. It's going to be a Marvel Spotlight production, meaning there's a lot of flexibility on the side of violence, but more importantly, it will be a very contained street-level story focusing on character. And that's what made the first Daredevil series work. I think the big question for fans, especially those of you that watched Echo, is how this will take off from Echo and even lead into Spider-Man 4. Many people are speculating we are indeed going to get a Devil's Reign storyline, effectively a street-level civil war in New York between heroes and villains, something I know many fans would like, and could quite honestly see a lot of those original Netflix characters find their way back. Since Disney recently incorporated those shows into the official MCU timeline, yeah, if you go over to Disney+, they are there now. It seems like they have some pretty big plans for all of these characters, maybe even Finn Jones, so we might see some other interesting surprises in Born Again. Obviously, we have a long wait for the series, probably not making its way to Disney Plus till 2025. The show is about to kick off production once again, and I'm really hopeful once they get back in front of the cameras, we start getting some more details. But we'll have to wait and see.